Cleveland Browns. So Jalen, we're going to turn our attention to a story that I think we'll be discussing a lot soon, and that is the future of Ben Simmons and the 76ers. 76ers head coach Doc Rivers was talking to our colleague and friend Stephen A. Smith on First Take, and here is what he had to say about the relationship with Ben.
It was a good conversation, and he gave his reasons, which we obviously didn't agree with. But, Stephen, I think in sports, and you've been around it a lot, there's been so many times that this has happened that hasn't been reported, and the guy comes back. So, listen, we're going to go through it. We're going to always do what's best for the team. But I can tell you up front, we would love to get Ben back. And if we can, we're going to try to do that. Ben has a long contract. So it's in our hands, and we want him back.
They want him back. He says he doesn't want to play. He's going to start getting fined about $250,000 for every preseason game he misses. How do you think this plays out, Mr. Rose?
Uncle Chuck D once said it. Pieces in one big chess game. I really like Doc Rivers. He mismanaged publicly the Ben Simmons scenario when they lost last year. I know the interview yesterday was cleanup time after they met with Ben, because Ben and Rich Paul, I'm sure they reminded him of what he said after the game. Usually, Jacoby, you don't have a guy this young in their career that's been all NBA, that's been all NBA defense, that has helped lead his team to the playoffs a few years in a row. Then he struggles mightily against the Atlanta Hawks. And right after they got eliminated and we started to realize that the process wasn't getting closer to a championship because the Nets got a big three, because the Bucks just won the championship, because the Heat won the East the year before that, because the Raptors won the championship the year before that, Doc went to the podium. Tee up what he said, Jacoby. I want to remind you.
Here's what he said after Game 7 lost to the Hawks.
Doc, you think Ben Simmons can still be a point guard for a championship team like the one you guys want to become?
Yeah, David, I don't know that question or the answer to that right now. So I don't know the answer to that.
That part. So that means I need to be out of here. The coach doesn't believe that I'm a championship level player. The best player on the team, Joel Embiid, just got a big extension. You already know when they were doing his deal, they talked about the situation with Ben. They lost Jimmy Butler. You now re-sign Embiid. Those two players, when they're at their maximum, you see Ben right there? He's in the blue area of the floor. That's where Joel Embiid's at his best. So as two great players, and Joel an MVP level player, their skill sets just don't match. And so I've said this for a while. They will move Ben Simmons. The problem is they will not get equal value. Don't talk about and don't worry about the money that he's going to miss. It's like a used car. As long as he's not putting miles, he'll make the money up. But what he's also doing, he's sabotaging their season. Because you don't think I'm a championship level point guard? Okay, y'all go ahead without me. Go right ahead. Let me see what y'all look like now. And that's what Ben Simmons is going to do.
Well, I'm sure we'll get an update on this. And one of the teams that has been rumored as a potential trade partner with the Sixers for Ben Simmons are the Golden State Warriors. And here's what Joe Lacob of the Warriors front office had to say about that potential. Quote, "It doesn't really fit what we're doing. Simmons makes a lot of money. And can he finish games? I don't know. He's very talented. The problem is we have Draymond. Draymond and him are very similar." Mr. Rose, if you're Draymond Green, how do you feel about this quote that got Joe Lacob fined $50,000 for tampering?
You know Draymond Green is family, and I've told you this on and off wax. His days in Golden State are numbered. And I even saw one time when he was playing with Team USA and they did a social media post about one of the players on the team. Draymond Green replied to that post and acknowledged that they never show him any love. His days there are numbered. With that being said, if anybody has ever looked at a basketball player and think think Ben Simmons and Draymond Green are similar, I need to drug test you. Those two players are nothing alike at all. First off, Draymond Green will attempt shots outside of the paint, first and foremost. Second, the thing that makes them vastly different is when they had a death lineup at 6'7", Draymond Green can guard centers. That's what makes Draymond different, while leading the team in assists and being a terrific playmaker in the half court. When they get a steal, when somebody misses a shot, they not outletting the ball to Draymond Green to push it up in transition. like what? That comparison is terrible. Okay, Ben Simmons is a perimeter player that just doesn't shoot the ball. He can still create for others. He's still 6'10". Both of them are all NBA defense. But the idea that they're similar is laughable to me. Draymond Green is an interior player that can guard fives. Ben Simmons is an outside player, an exterior player that can, in theory, guard 4 positions. They're vastly different. And so this is $50,000 that he could have just drove down the freeway and threw out of the window, because nobody in their right mind thought those two players would be coexisting, because they're not similar. They're just both not knockdown three-point shooters.
Jalen, I understand your point, but I want to get back to something you said earlier. You said that Draymond Green and the Warriors, you don't see that partnership continuing for a long time.
I did say that, my brother, and that's okay. Like, they've accomplished so very much. He's won 3 championships there. He's been defensive, player of the year, in the conversation for it all of the time. A terrific playmaker. Their vocal leader. Their toughness. They're the guy that challenges everybody consistently to up their level of play and can adjust his style. There's a style that he played when they had guys playing center like Bogut and Festus Ezeli. Now they have guys like Wiseman. Their lineups they have with Draymond Green is the actual 5. Either way, when he's playing basketball, Draymond Green, not Steph Curry, leads the Warriors in assists. And so he's been their heartbeat. I just believe that as the team starts to now get older and you start to get more young draft capital, that slowly pushes him out of the door. I don't see him and Wiseman coexisting on the interior as like a 4 or 5, because when Draymond Green was at his best, he's actually the 5. And remember, that was the death lineup.
Well, perhaps Jalen Rose is predicting the death of the death lineup. Moving on to another important NBA story. J. Cole practiced with the Orlando Magic, and I have a proposal. Why not just sign him? Why not just sign J. Cole? It will be a show. Is he probably going to, be a long tenured NBA player? No, but why not just sign J. Cole to like a 2-way?
I agree with you. And by the way, Orlando Magic, J. Cole, who's from Charlotte, representing the Pumas to the fullest. If the Hornets don't want to give him a gig, Magic, sign him up. He can't, and imagine, you can literally have a Cole world. Literally, you got Anthony and Jay to give you a Cole world, baby. Make it happen.
Look, if Tony Romo can play for the Mavericks, why can't J. Cole just play for the Magic? Why not? Why not just sign him? I know it's a publicity stunt, but it would be so much fun. Now, Jalen, let me tell you something that happened in real life. Someone has paired 2 GOATs, Michael, Jeffrey, Jordan, and myself, David Jacoby. I'll explain in what weird world that happens right after this. Stay tuned. It's a weird one on Jalen Jacoby.
Times I dream that he is me, like Mike.
When your family gathers around,
we are Jalen Jacoby. What is it that we do?
We get the people what they want.
The people of Chicago are getting what they want. It is now official that Justin Fields, the rookie, will get his first start for the Bears Week 3 against the Browns as Andy Dalton is out. But Matt Nagy still being coy about who hypothetically would be the starter if Dalton was healthy. What do you think about Fields' first start?
I understand why the Bears are really being protective of Justin Fields, because you don't want to destroy his confidence and you don't want the entire season to feel like it's on his shoulders. except when you draft him in the first round the way you did, the season is on his shoulders. There's no way around it. Andy Dalton got injured on a non-contact play. So now Justin Fields is going to be the starter. For me, there's no need for Matt Nagy to now come out and say, if Dalton was healthy, he'd be the starter. Breathe life, breathe confidence into your young guy. And let me just say this. If he goes out and plays really well against the Browns and Dalton is healthy, you can't put Dalton back in. If he goes out and plays really bad against the Browns, you can't now bench him and put Dalton back in. Just let the young fella go and allow Dalton to be the backup and get ready for October 3rd, the Super Bowl matchup against the Detroit Lions.
Look at the chance to win column. It just jumps up to 63% when you play at home against the Lions. We all thought that he would start week 4 against the Lions, but I think that is a good test for him because the Browns have a pretty good defense. The Browns have a good team. So this is going to be a difficult week for him, but we all know what happens when you play the Lions. You put up numbers. And Jalen, one of the reasons that they really haven't started him is because in the preseason, he showed some signs of maybe not mastering protections and sliding coverages and things of that nature. And there was one in particular play you wanted to see that demonstrated that.
That's why you don't put him out there against Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. That's why you don't put him out there against Aaron Donald. He's still a young player. And there's a reason why they were picking really high, because their offense wasn't really good. And so you got to protect the young fella and play the long game. We've already talked about this, Jacoby. The history of the Bears quarterbacks isn't one of the most notable in the history of the NFL. They haven't had a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards. They haven't had a quarterback throw for 30 TDs. Shout to Jim McMahon, the OG, the legend. But however, you want to bring this guy along slowly because you want him to be there for the next decade or so.
Since G by Chase, welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, we all know what happened with the Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa, broken ribs. He's hurt. But Jalen, I'm very concerned about his replacement, Jacoby Brissett. You know I always root for Jacoby's. I love all Jacoby's the way you love Jalen's, but they're going up against the Raiders defense, and I don't know if you saw this. Raiders defense forced turnovers against Lamar Jackson. Ben Roethlisberger, one of the more durable players, got hit like 12 times. Should I be concerned for my guy Jacoby in the Jacoby game?
You should be concerned, absolutely. And by the way, shout to John Gruden and the Raiders because they probably have the 2 most impressive victories so far in the NFL. And surprisingly 2-0 after those couple of games. But I agree with you. This is a great opportunity for your guy Jacoby because he had a chance with the Colts after Andrew Luck retired. And I felt like prematurely he didn't really get a chance to express whether he was going to be the starting quarterback or not. And so if he goes out there and he plays well, the Miami Dolphins are one of those plug-and-play teams to me. I talked to you about the Washington football team being one of these squads. Really good defensively, really good on special teams, have offensive line play, defensive line play. They just need a quarterback. And so if Brissett can give them some turnover-free give them some turnover-free football, that's going to make it a lot tougher for a guy like